Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. I'm sure you all had an exciting weekend because though the weekend wasn't so packed up with lots of sporting activities, but I'm sure you did make the most of what you could make during the weekend. So we'll be starting as always from the home front where we've seen Nigerians, yes, Nigerians always making us proud and setting a new record for sprinters, Nigerian sprinter and the 2023 National Junior College athlete 16 seconds adjusted for altitude in her semi-finals at the event break into the Louisiana State University of the top 10 women in 60 meters. God Bless went through the line to win her first heat of 7.14 seconds adjusted to 7.16 seconds for altitude. Her time tied were the ninth on the all-time LSU record with the legend Kimberly Duncan. Yes, looking at all of these, we've seen it from the international stage. Talking fencing still, let's talk fencing a little bit. US-based fencer Akim Bamiro chooses Nigerian American-based teenager fencer Belu Ola. Akim Bamiro has placed her legacy, making sure that the grassroots sporting event, football, Nigerians will be able to represent in the international communities. Though I have someone who will be discussing grassroots football and also a forthcoming Nations Cup that will be happening in just, I think, later in the month of March. We'll be having a conversation around that and, how the plan would be for sustaining it and as well as, getting these individuals, getting these players who will be partaking in these competitions into the NNL and also into the Nigerian Professional Football League and also into other diverse sporting activities that will be happening here in Nigeria. And also is that Donald Trump, Philadelphia quarterback Jalen Hurts threw for 2 touchdowns and rushed for another as the Eagles averaged their organizing Super Bowl defeat to Chiefs 2 years ago in emphatic style at the Newcastle Superdome. The Chiefs had been vying to become the first team in history to win their 3 consecutive championship following the Super Bowl victories in 2023 and 2024. But Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who was sacked 6 times and threw 2 interceptions, never looked like leading his team to glory as the Eagles' iron defense, clinically offensive, dominated throughout the game. We'll be going on a very quick break, and then when we get back, we'll be having conversations around the Bromley Nations Cup that will be coming up, that will be happening in Just, and also we'll be knowing what the plans will be to sustain it and how these players and individuals will also get to benefit from all the sporting activities that would be happening. You stay back, we'll be right back after this break. Yes, many thanks for staying with us as we tend to have this conversation. Now, I have with me in the studio Geoffrey Botson, the founder and president of Birom Sports Development Association, and then the Birom Sporting Nations Cup. Actually, Nations Cup is going to be coming up later, and then we hope to see a whole lot of development going on within those angles. Good morning, Mr. Geoffrey.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us this edition of the program.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
I know you are very big on grassroots, and then it seems you and Sheikh Utiko had a conversation about making sure the grassroots is properly taken care of before we start having plans for international competitions, which is actually a very good way to start up. So now, what's the idea behind this Nations Cup?
Okay, thank you very much. For me, like you said, grassroots sports development have always been the thing. Sports cannot grow in a nation except we have intentional grassroots development program going on. So back home in the Birom Nation, we're in Jos, we have sports through the BECO, the BYM, Birom Education and Cultural Organization, and the Birom Youth Molders. There are sports, but these are things that happen once in a while. And for some years, you see it ceases. Whatever year that doesn't happen, you see the youths eager. So we look at it, we said, okay, these organizations are bodies that are embodied with a lot of activities. Why don't we have something specific on sports? So that gave birth to Birom Sports Development Association as an NGO based there. And then we came up with the idea that, okay, we need to have a cup. So that as we do the development program, after training these kids, going through all the rudiments, the game situation, etc., they need to wear, they need to test it. So we came up with Birom Nations Cup. And that will be a strong competition across all the districts in Birom land.
Okay. Yeah. So now, how long are we looking at to see this competition last, and then how many teams are involved? And is it just football or other activity competitions, maybe basketball and boxing will be involved?
Okay, for this year, it's starting on the 1st of March. That's the soft launch. Then it's going to last through 19th of April. So it's purely football this year, but we hope to grow into, for the next year, we hope to grow into basketball, marathon, volleyball, looking at the specific skills that the youths in those villages have. So we have seen some of the villages, Vwang and some parts of Fan and other areas, we've seen youths naturally grow with great marathon abilities. So we say it's good to harness that, discover more, harness it, and then showcase it in the world. So we're going to do a lot of that. Even basketball, basketball used to be very strong around there.
Very big on basketball.
Basketball used to be very big on that area, but we saw over the past decades a decay in infrastructure development.
Actually, talking about big, I remember playing, Nipoga. It's in Jos and University of Jos and all of that. So I know Jos is a very big city for sporting activities as well as Nigeria is. But let's move away from that for a little bit, though we'll still have more conversations to know the plan for sustainability and all of those angles. But now, some persons now are beginning to drink their cups water peacefully, and then having fun of winning a game after 5 losses. I'm talking about Rivers United, and we're seeing at the 88th minute header for Timothy Zakaria provided a perspective for the ex-international and Rivers United coach Finidi George as they ended an unwanted run of 5 games without a win, beating Lobby Stars 1-0 in Port Harcourt. Zakaria broke the bottom place Lobby Stars' resilience in the crossing stage of the game and gave his side some hope of reviving their title challenge. They are now in the 3rd place with 38 points from 23 matches, 10 points behind the leaders Romeo Star. Before the clash, Rivers United last win was against Quarry United last December, enduring the three draws and 2 defeats, which saw them lose ground in their title race. Elsewhere, Akwa United also returned to winning ways after a slim 2-1 win over visiting side Eyimba FC in the March Day 23 of the Nigerian Professional Football League counter in Uyo. So looking at this matches now, I was having a conversation with someone. I was saying that Romeo Star need to maintain that firepower so they can be able to win matches and maintain their level. Now they're like 8 points clear from the defending champions, Enugu Rangers, and then they are totally 11 points clear from, the top 4. So looking at this now, Romeo Star are actually on a very, very good path. With 23 matches played, and now they are 48 points clear. So with the way they are going now, I think they are going to snatch this before the season goes so far. And again, this current prize money, 250 million naira, is I know it's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
For players to be very hungry and for teams to keep going. So with this current prize money, Mr. Geoffrey, how do you think is impacting the Nigerian professional football league?
It has grown a lot more passion. You can see players even from out there looking forward to coming back to play. Players playing here are giving more energy, more passion into the game, because incentives, if you incentivize a player very well, you bring out an energy from inside him that you've never seen. So the passion for the game, the growth will happen very rapidly.
Yeah, growth actually happening very, very rapidly, and then we actually hope that this would continue at this pace, because it's business at the end of the day, because all of these players have families to take care of, and they have maybe kids and all of that. So looking at those angles now, I'm super excited for the Nigerian Professional Football League, and for Romeo Stars, they are actually on it. So Enugu Rangers, Ilechukwu made mentions of the fact that they might not be able to win the title at this point, but I think they should still continue. I think they are still in the top 5, so hopefully they might, scale through. Well, moving away, still talking football, but now we are going to be speaking La Liga, where Barcelona gets to beat Sevilla 4-1 to maintain the title charge. Now, I actually said this again, that any slight mistake from Real Madrid just this weekend after they played a draw, Barcelona would come from the 3rd place and overtake the log table on La Liga, and now that has happened. So Barcelona cut the gap on La Liga's top 2 with an entertaining 4-1 win over Sevilla, despite playing out of the final half with 10 men after Fermin Lopez red card. Robert Lewandowski, Lopez, Rafinha, and Eric Garcia struck for the Catalans, who were able to capitalize on leaders Real Madrid 1-1 draw with second place Atlético Madrid. That was on Saturday. Hence, the Flinks Barca climbed within 2 points of those and moved one behind Atlético to crack up the tension in the title race. Now it's getting more interesting. Now Barcelona are now top. Now I'm just wondering how Real Madrid will be able to bounce back. Do you think they can bounce back?
Yeah, it's possible. With football, everything is work. Like we said from beginning, is the goal is to win.
Yes.
So most players channel their energy through that. If they keep focused and keep doing what they're doing with more vigor, they can bounce back. It is sports, and expect the unexpected at every point.
So let's talk about let's come back to Bureau Nations Cup again, because as much as wanting to take lots of these younger ones off the streets and giving them a platform to showcase their God-given talent, what plans now do you have for sustainability? Because like you rightly mentioned, a few years ago we saw like competitions coming in, let's say almost every festive period during Christmas, and then afterwards nothing. But now we've seen December, the festive period just passed, and now your current initiative is saying it's something that's going to be coming up back to back. So how do you plan to sustain all of this?
Okay, thank you. So I'll talk a little about what we set on ground first. First, the object of the organization is to create an unmatched sporting atmosphere that will contribute to the peace building and recreation among Birom people in the rural areas and everywhere they are settled. So when we saw that object, the plan, we said it's not just about the competition. Let's set a body that will hold this and make it sustainable. So that's why we went ahead and registered as an NGO. It means it's here to stay. It's an organization. So out of that organization comes the cup. Bureau of Nations Cup. So it means in basketball, in football, in marathon, and whatever game we bring year after year, it will still remain Bureau of Nations Cup. So we have now still went ahead to partner with relevant organizations like the Plateau Football Association in this case, led by Honorable Dr. Suleiman Kwande. He's a passionate person and he really wants to see grassroots sports develop in Plateau. He's doing a lot. We went to other bodies in Birom land, which are BECO, etc. We are talking again with BYM, and then we are looking at the Birom Women Development Association. In fact, the president came out and said, please don't leave a girl child out of this. So it will be sustainable if these organizations that have stayed for years support it continually the way they are, and if good-spirited individuals come out with their resources and support this. Cheer the teams, support the teams, get shoes for the players. Literally, at the cost of this preparation, in some of the interior villages, I've seen great players who still play barefooted. I've seen boys now who are learning how to wear the soccer boot to play. Because that's to tell you that we're going deep remotely, and it has to be sustained by
just like Shehu Diko made mention of that, the sports commissioner. He said grassroots is very, very key to him, and then he's more centered. Just like we saw the women in cricket who, last year they represented in the All African Games for the first time, and then they came back with a bronze medal, and then this time around going all through to the world stage in Malaysia to represent again, they came back second place. So now we've seen growth from third now second, and then this is like their first time ever, coming out in world class stages like this. So grassroots is actually very key. And then this ladies I'm talking about the under 18 and under 19 ladies. So it boils down to the singular fact that we need to do so much more in the grassroots, and then be able to have activities like this, and then have these people always make us proud. So looking at all of these angles now, I think we will still need to talk a little bit of a shocker, because I just got shocked now just finding out that some persons are still learning how to put on soccer boots. So let me bring you another shocker, where Liverpool, a Division 2 side, defeated Liverpool yesterday 1-0 to knock them off the FA Cup competition. So let's have that conversation. Liverpool suffered a humiliating FA Cup exit as Championship strugglers. Plymouth ended their quadruple beat with a stolen 1-0 win in the fourth round of the competition. And Slot's decision to field a weakened Liverpool team came back to haunt him, with Ryan Haniel's second half penalty sealing Paramount's epic upset at home. Park all at home. Then looking at it now, Van Dijk and Mo Salah, Andrew Roberts and Cody Gakpo were among the starters rested, as Slot made 10 changes from the team that trashed Tottenham 4-0 in the League Cup semi-final second leg just this past week. In a remarkable successful first season in charge of Liverpool, it was a rare blunder by the former Feyenoord boss. Liverpool's fourth defeat in all competition this season, with just the third time the Premier League leaders had failed to score under Arne Slot. Arne Slot insists that he has no regret over Liverpool's selection after making 10 changes as Reds suffered a shocker FA Cup defeat to Paramount. Arne Slot insisted that he has no regret over selecting a weakened team for Liverpool's trip to Plymouth, as he focused on Wednesday's derby in the Premier League. A long list of heavyweights were expected in the Northwest, with Norn, Van Dijk, Mo Salah, as well as Alexis, Ibrahim Conte, Alexa McAllister, Ryan Sobersti and Cody were all not available to make the journey. So, but Arne Slot insists that he still believes the mass change were the right call, and when asked if he regretted his decision, he says no, because you would never know what would happen if you were played with all of our starters over here. So basically, from what we are seeing here as a coach, that you are also, he left his best players so for a bigger match. But is it rare to see coaches make decisions like this?
Yeah, it is rare, and especially it happens in a place where a coach feels comfortable with the matches right before him. If he's comfortable with these ones right before him, he'll say, well, yeah, these players can handle this. So, but I can't afford to have so players have injury against the bigger match coming forward.
Okay, well, looking
Yeah.
at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
we're seeing that actually that's what Aaron Slot actually said, and then moving on that still, he just decided to play safe. It's better he loses the FA Cup than to lose his top place position in the Premier League
Yeah.
and then lose the chance of winning the Premiership. So I think it's actually going to be good for him if he gets to win. But from the look of things, they're like 56 or 58 points clear of the Premier League, and then looking on the Premier League log. So looking at that position now, I think they are good to go if they continue winning and not losing any points. I
Yeah.
think they will be able to have a very good run. And again, this is going to be a kudos to him coming to Liverpool in his first season and also winning the Premier League. He's going to go down as one of the great coaches. He'll be in line with Pep Guardiola and also the current Real Madrid coach who also did it a certain time with Ancelotti, who did it a certain time, I think, with Chelsea thereabout. So it's just super interesting while he took this decision. But talking about bosses who don't have regrets, some are happy and some are not happy. But Ange Postecoglou, who is the head coach of Tottenham, is actually not currently happy with his side as the side suffered a 2-1 defeat against Aston Villa just a few hours ago. On the fire, Ange hinted it's an agenda to have him sacked as Tottenham boss after his side were knocked out of a second cup competition inside 4 days. Spurs lost at Aston Villa in the FA Cup fourth round following their defeat last Thursday at Liverpool in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. There were chants throughout from the Spurs fans calling for Chairman Daniel Levy to walk away, and is also under severe pressure but launched a passionate defense of his players, claiming that every club would struggle, but as Spurs have done with 12 first-timers missing. So looking at this now, they've been struggling, we've been seeing series of defeats, and now the Stars, the whole lot of analysts have argued that the Stars, talking about Son and the rest of them, are actually not showing up to play the kind of football that we always see them to play. But now, at this point now, looking at all of these challenges now, the coach, at the other hand, feels that fans can get if their teams are not winning. But now, this is a very good time to ask this question because I have a coach with me who understands most of these things. Yes. So, Mr. Geoffrey, how do you think that sometimes players contribute to coaches being fired?
Yes, it happens, especially in sports nowadays. It also gets political. So players contribute in some instances. You've seen it in the past where, yes, players perform outstandingly after a coach is fired. So you ask yourself, how many practice sessions have they had after the coach was fired? So it happens. It happens, but the bottom line is clubs target to win. As a coach, I think he should put his eye on winning, do the right thing, carry the team, the players along as he works with the management.
Talking about working with the management and players also doing stuff to make sure the coach remains at the team. We saw that when it happened with Erik ten Hag last season between Manchester United and Man City when they were playing in the FA Cup finals. Yes, they came out to play for him, not just for the coach. But they came out to play to win, but not just for winning, they also came out to play for, Erik ten Hag, because at the point, the current owners were saying the only thing that's going to solidify Erik ten Hag's job is if he gets to win the FA Cup. And then we saw how the players came out and then supported and then played and then they got to win. And some persons here were super excited. I didn't even get to hear word where we have Manchester United fans in your office space who wouldn't have you rest after winning FA Cup. So still talking about players and coaches, Rashford now has made a full return, and then he featured yesterday. He had a derby yesterday with Aston Villa, and not despite the fact not scoring a goal or creating any assist, but we saw how efficient he is, and he's currently looking very happy. Marcus Rashford played his first game in 59 days when he made a comeback in Aston Villa's 2-1 victory over Tottenham in the FA Cup. That was just concluded. It's almost concluded. Rashford's Villa debut came a week after he sealed a loan move away from Manchester United until the end of the season. The 27-year-old had been exiled by Ruben Amorim since December after falling out with the United manager and publicly expressing his desire to seek a new challenge. Rashford entered the game as a substitute in the 65th minute and went on to touch the ball 22 times, with each involvement causing excitement among the crowd. After the game, Rashford took to his Instagram to send 9 words message to his new supporters. So he just said he is here and he's going to do all he can to help them, win trophies for the amount of time. And then also there's also a clause for a buy option for Aston Villa if they really would want the services of Marcus Rashford. I'm super excited for him coming back to play football at 27 despite injury worries. I hope he gets back on his feet and then gets into scoring goals and get into that level that we know Rashford to be at. We'll be going on a quick break, and then when we return back, we'll be talking a bit of chaos that happened in Turkey just this past weekend. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Yes, with just a new player coming into Turkish league already, there are chaos. As players yesterday in the 30th minute, a whole lot of players walked off the pitch in protest at a penalty decision. There were chaos scenes in Turkey as Adnan Darmspiros players walked off the pitch during their game against Galatasaray in the protest at a controversial penalty decision. Alvaro Morata, who joined Galatasaray on loan from AC Milan, scored from the spot after 12 minutes, but the game was intentionally suspended in the 34th minute before later being abandoned. The penalty had been awarded after Galatasaray's Darius Martinez went down in the area despite not having made significant contact with him. So this is a challenge. We've seen a whole lot of incidents like this happen, and then the introduction of VAR came into play. And now VAR just this season in the Premier League has recorded 13 errors out of 23 games that have been played. So machines too can also fail. So looking at all of these challenges now, we saw a bad call that was made by a ref, and then at some point it got suspended. These players walked off because at some point players get to take this, coaches get to take it and say, okay, it's a human error, but this was glaring and then it cost their team. So looking at all of those situations now, it led to the fact that they had to suspend the game in the 34th minute because the players decided to walk off the pitch. But looking at all of this now, the fifth for Morata, having Morata and Victor Osimhen pairing together for the Galatasaray side, I think these guys are not out to play. They are out to just get into the Champions League and also get to win what's it called now, the championship in the Turkish league. But moving away from that, I'm sure reports will still get to us on when this match will be played, or if it's going to be played, or if it's just going to be, scrapped out. We don't know what's going to happen currently, but the Turkish body are actually having talks on what to do, who is going to be penalized, who's going to be punished. All of that is going to happen, and once we have that confirmed information, we'll definitely bring it to you. We're still talking Bureau Nations Cup now. It came to my knowledge that sometime on the 5th of this month, you had the draws. And then now, how many teams are we looking at? Talking about draws, just this next weekend, Abuja Ski Soccer League will be coming up, and then the draws will be happening. And then next week, the competition will kick off properly here in the Capital Territory. So talking about teams now, and the draws, I remember we had a conversation and you told me the draws have been made, but we didn't get the whole information on how many teams will be playing and how long the match is going to last.
Okay, yes. So on the 5th we had the draws. It was supervised by the chairman of the Plateau Football Association. So we have 13 teams.
Okay.
The teams are from 13 districts across the Birom land. So those districts are headed by the district heads, who are called the Dagom Roys. So they've intentionally worked with their sports coordinators to raise a team for each district. So it's going to be highly competitive. In the draws, we came up with Group A and B, which A has 6 teams and B has 7 teams. So they were looking really forward to those teams meeting each other. And these teams, the 13 teams, are cut across 4 local governments. Just North, Just South, Piladi, and Riom. That's where all the Birom districts are predominantly. So it's going to be a highly contested tournament where each district wants to see who will be crowned champions for this Birom Nations Cup. Yes. So those are the districts that are going to be playing.
Okay. As we know, this is called Nations Cup. Like in the next couple of years, we are expected to see it cut across all 36 states of the federation. So it's going to answer fully to its name, nation. So it's going to answer fully to its name, Nations Cup. So that's just exciting to see that. Okay, all of these preparations have been put in place to see all of this being actualized, and then we hope that it's actually going to yield more. But what's the plan after this competition? Are you looking to have maybe the winners get into the NNL or then advance into the Nigerian Professional Football League? Okay,
good question. So it's not just going to be the winners. From the kickoff till the finals, we will have scouts on ground.
From NNL?
From all over. Some are looking out to getting players who will play in clubs out there. Some schools who want to offer a football scholarship. They are looking out to get young players who are talented, who can play for their school. Some are within and outside the country. But then, most importantly, for us in Besda, we are looking at getting players who will form the Besda FC. That's the team that is going to be representing the whole organization. So, and these players are going to be cut across the whole 13 districts. We'll select the best of the best and make them into one team, Besda FC, which will go into the NNL, like you said, and then gradually grow. We want to see them grow, so they need to start from
the
there.
NNL too is actually getting very competitive, because we've seen clubs from the Nigerian Professional Premier League relegated, and then I think dropping 2 from the Premier League and then advancing to the Nigerian Premier League. So from the NNL, you advance. Then if you didn't do so well, you get relegated to NNL. So this is just interesting. And then we are super excited with the current management of the Nigerian Football Association. And then we're seeing how well it's getting involving, and the prize monies as well also is making the whole thing, opening more room for foreign players to come play. I'm very certain, I can't pinpoint the name right now, but I'm very certain of 2 players who are from our African countries, neighboring African countries, that are currently playing with the defending champions of the Nigerian Premier League, Enugu Rangers. So looking at those angles now, we're hoping to see a whole lot of involvement happen within the sport, and also other angles of not just football, also basketball and sprinting, athleticism, all of that. That's just what we are hoping for. And with the current plan now, we've seen individuals rate that Nigerian Super Eagles would be able to clinch the 2026 African Cup of All Nations. What do you think about the new coach Eric Charlie of the Super Eagles?
A lot have been talked about, but for me, I would say Nigerians, let's give him a chance. He's definitely here to work, and you can't ascertain what a person will do or the extent he will go if you don't give him a chance.
We've seen him travel around to go visit, actually to visit Alex Iwobi and the rest of them that are currently playing in the Premier League, just to go visit them and then have conversations about, coming to camp with them. Do you think it's going to help? Is that move is helping build a relationship with the team, the guys already?
Yeah, I'm a 3D coach from the 3D Institute in US. We say in 3D that we coach players and we teach the sports. So what he's doing is he's coaching their mind, their psycho. He's coaching their hearts, and then he'll come to the physical, coaching the player. So with that one, you can get a whole out of a player. If you don't know what state a player is, what situation he's going through, if you don't meet him at the point of his need, how will he do well for you on the field with the physical? So we tend to coach only the physical a lot in Nigeria, but we need to coach from 3 dimensions. Coach emotionally, physically, and mentally. So we need to do that. I think that's what he's doing. And these players will trust him. And they will come in with their all. Yeah.
That's actually great, because I have actually not heard this before. So actually, because obviously if you're not mentally stable, there is no how you'll be able to perform.
Absolutely.
And then if you don't even trust your coach to tell him, my boot is paining me, then there won't be, you wouldn't even know what kind of boot he gets you next to even make you feel comfortable. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, at least with that now, I'm softening it and saying, despite the fact that I'm not happy that you're getting us a foreign coach that is, from Chile, that is from Mali, that we've seen his results, what he did when he was coaching Mali. We were not super impressed. But with that being said, with this approach that he's taking, we hope to see that he would be able to, carry us all through, because soon these guys will be in camp, and then the qualifiers would also stand facing Rwanda and Zimbabwe. So all of those things that would be coming into play, and then we hope to see that the Super Eagles get to qualify. And then his current strategy, that is Eric, will be able to play off for him to have a very good squad. So this Birom Nations Cup that is set to, I think you said, a month of March.
It's kicking off from 1st of March, which is in a few weeks' time. And it's going to last till 19th of April.
Okay. Well, that's great. I think it's around the corner already. Since we've spoken a lot of football, let's talk basketball. And then we just saw a massive trading sections that involve, a whole lot of young guys that we thought would be the franchise leaders for the organization. But at the end of the day, the NBA would always shock you. And then whoever a team and a franchise need to trade, they'll end up trading the person, and then making sure the end of the day is just to win the brand, to win the NBA trophies. And then looking at all of those things now, every team wants to win trophies. Now let's talk about the trades that happened between the Dallas and Los Angeles Lakers. We saw where Anthony Davis got traded to the Mavericks, and then Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers. Now, people have asked questions. I've gotten questions like, why do you think this trade happens? It's just that simple. The Lakers now, looking at the Lakers now, LeBron James has been the leader, has been the one carrying this team for as long as possible, and then we've seen how far he was able to come with Anthony Davis as his big man. So they were able to win a trophy in the year 2020 in the bubble, which a whole lot of persons have said it doesn't actually count. But let's leave that conversation for another day. They won the trophy, nothing more. But now, LeBron James is 40 years old. And let's say in the next 3 years tops, he's done with basketball. Now the Lakers need someone who is young, who they can build around. Now they felt Luka is that man. Now we have Bronny James, who is LeBron James' son, who is also younger. We have a whole lot of young squad for the Lakers. And then they are planning on building around Luka, so as in the next couple of years, maybe 5 years, given the fact that Luka is 25, maybe in the next 5 years they would be able to win another championship. But now, let's look at the Mavericks now. They have Kyrie Irving, they have Klay Thompson, and now they have a very big guy, Anthony Davis. Though in his first debut, the normal Anthony Davis, he showed up and then scored, I think, around 25 points for them on his debut. But on that same debut match, he got injured. Now, that has been the challenge with Anthony Davis while he was still in the Lakers. So, looking at all of this now, the Lakers now, the Mavericks got to the finals with the help of Luka Doncic last season, but now he got traded. Now, they have Kyrie, they have Klay Thompson, they have Anthony Davis. Now, the plan for them now is to see if they can make it all through to the finals now. But do I think they can go through the finals? I think they can, because looking at it now, currently they are number 3 on the Conference League final table, rather, I beg your pardon, and then they are doing so well. They won their last couple of matches, and then they've been on the 5 games winning streak without losses. So looking at all of these activities now going on within these two teams, the Lakers are planning on a futuristic plan, so as in the next couple of years they can be able to win trophies. And then the Mavericks now are looking at the current situation and to see if they would be able to win any trophy by the end of this season. So looking at all of those angles now, we saw another trade that happened between Jimmy Butler leaving Miami Heat down to Golden State Warriors. And again, he showed up as he always showed up, and then he scored 25 points, and then Stephen Curry dropped 24 points, and then those two combo had a 59 point contributed to the team. So looking at all of this now, I think the Golden State Warriors are going to get into shape to be able to contend for the championship in the next couple of weeks. Though this weekend is going to be the All-Star weekend, where we'll be seeing celebrity football games and then football games and every other games that will be basketball games that will be happening. So this is just exciting. So from next week, I would say that is when basketball will take on the second stage, and then we'll start making our ways through to the playoffs to see those that would feature in the playoffs and then make it all through to the final. As we are getting set to wrap up, what's your final words, Mr. Geoffrey, for grassroots sports development?
My final word is we have a lot of talents in Nigeria, cut across every local government and every village.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of youth restiveness. The youth desperately need attention. And a large population of our nation's youths have a lot of interest in sports. Let's use sports as a platform to reach out to the youths. Engage them naturally from the grassroots, and you will see some will grow up to become pro. Some sports will shape their lives because of the life skills they are learning.
Yeah.
Peace,